Welcome everybody. In today's video, we're going to talk about what happens after 30 days without pornography and the truth that no one tells you, okay? So before starting this video, just want to make things clear. I am a coach and I've made countless amount of people overcome addiction, okay? So if you struggle with the porn addiction, the only thing that you have to do is check the first link in the description and you will see a link, click on it, and you can book a free discovery call, okay? So in this video, like I've told you, I will tell you what happens after 30 days, after a month, okay? The first thing that I found out is that the urges don't disappear, okay? So you can call them urges, you can call them temptations, but for me, I just call them urges because I want people to understand that these urges exist, not really, okay? It's all here. So the urges don't disappear. What I mean by this is you expect freedom. A lot of people are gonna expect freedom and so on, but instead the urges change the form, okay? They became mental and not physical, okay? But also this shocks people and keeps them hooked if they're not prepared. So if you don't have like a very specific system, and system stands for 7 years of time, energy, and money, then you will literally go on relapse, if that makes sense, okay? The second thing is that your brain gets quieter and there's less noise, there's less random fantasies, more space between urges and action, okay? So once again, the reason why I'm saying the urges, because a lot of people, I want people to understand that there is, temptations or urges, even though inside of our coaching program, we debunk how does the urges works, because there is no such a thing as the urges, if that makes sense. And this is one of the first real wins most men feel, is that they have time to think before taking the action. And here I'm talking about the action of you going and relapse. And obviously when you're going to relapse, you're going to feel ashamed. So is this something that you should be proud of or something that will make you feel good afterwards? No, okay? So we start to think a little bit logically, okay? The third thing is that motivation comes back like literally quickly. So some days you feel driven, some days you feel flat, but this is dopamine recalibrating, not failure, obviously, right? And most of guys relapse here because they think something is wrong, but there's nothing wrong. Once again, understand that your body will always gonna try to adapt to what's happening. It's kind of like your testosterone, A lot of people are gonna tell you how to boost your testosterone, such as eating healthy, going to the gym, sleeping, and all of those things. But if you do those regular things, which is regular, your testosterone levels will come back to genetically normal levels. If you want to make your testosterone up and boost your testosterone, you need to be in a very competitive place, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So when you're gonna be in a very competitive place, your testosterone will rise. And if your testosterone gonna rise, then obviously you're gonna feel it, okay? Because, you're a man, you want to boost your testosterone. And the reason why it's because your body needs to adapt to it. If you are in a very cute environment which is most of the time chill, peaceful, then obviously you're not gonna produce testosterone. It's a little bit the same thing with motivation, if that makes sense, okay? So confidence rises, but not magically. You don't become a alpha overnight, right? You don't become like a sigma or alpha, whatever you guys call it. But the eyes contact feel easier. Basically, you feel more like a man. You feel like you have this masculine presence. It's also because of semenization aside, but when you hold your semen for 30 days and you don't watch pornography as well, you start to think, logically, and you become like a man, if that makes sense, So you don't become a normal person overnight. Obviously, you become better than this. But the eye contact feels easier. Speaking feels more grounded. That means when you speak with normal. Once again, it depends on your identity. If you are forming your identity, what's gonna happen is in the first month, you're gonna start to feel it. Okay, for some people they can feel it more often, and for other people they can feel it less often, if that makes sense. So you can feel it for the first month or the second month, but for most of people it's the first month, okay? So attraction shifts internally first, okay? So you stop chasing stimulation because you basically understood that pornography will give you fake stimulation plus a fake dopamine hit. And when you're gonna have this fake dopamine hit, your brain will feel overstimulated, okay? And you're gonna sensitize your brain, okay? Actually desensitize your brain. So you start valuing calm and presence. You generally want to feel calm, present. Sometimes you can take a book or something like this. Here we go, this is a book here. You can just take this book and start reading, literally. Because your dopamine is in this, it's back in this baseline, if that makes sense. So when your dopamine is back in the baseline, what's gonna happen is you want to feel You want to feel stimulated, but not too much, not overstimulated, such as doom scrolling and watching pornography. And obviously, watching pornography is very, 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 it gives you a lot of dopamine, if that makes sense. Okay? Speaking feels more grounded, okay? And so on. So you start valuing calm and presence, and external attraction follows later, but only if you act, obviously. Okay? So the sixth thing is sleep and focus improves. And this is really, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is something true. Not perfect, but noticeable. That means you fall asleep faster, okay? And you can wake up earlier as well. So you wake up less foggy as well, and your attraction span slowly repairs. Obviously, your attention span, sorry. Obviously, your attention span, we all know about this. If you keep scrolling a lot and you doom scroll, your attention span will shorter. And if you stop watching pornography and you stop doing all of those things that will make you feel overstimulated, then what's going to happen, obviously, is that your attention span will come back to the normal base level, okay? And same thing with falling asleep. You will literally fall asleep earlier, and you will wake up with more motivation to attack the day, more energy, and so on, if that makes sense. Okay, so make sure to understand this. Very, very important. Emotional numbness fades. You feel more, both good and uncomfortable emotions, but porn was muting things, and this is growth, not regression. What's gonna happen here is you will kind of like start to improve your emotional intelligence, if I can say it like this. Okay, so your emotional intelligence, that means the next time when you want to kind of like feel something, you will really think about it first. It's kind of like practicing stoicism, if that makes sense. It also depends on your identity, but most of people, when they do something like this, they feel more grounded, more calm, okay? And this is just by not watching pornography, if that makes sense. And obviously, aside, not letting your semen out, okay? I have to say this, otherwise people in the comments are gonna be like, yeah, but I did this and it didn't work. Well, yeah, you shouldn't be watching pornography, and you should hold your semen. That means your semen retention. You should be on semen retention. There's also discipline exposes your real life problems. This is true. No escape anymore. Boredom, lack of purpose, weak routines shows up. And porn wasn't the root, it was the anesthetic. So what happens here is you will start to become more conscious about your own presence. That means if you are the type of person who was scrolling, eating junk food, and you have lack of purpose or feel bored most of the time, then automatically, because you know your dopamine will desensitize, you will start to be aware of what you're doing on a daily basis, okay? On a day-to-day basis. And when you're gonna be aware of it, you're gonna be like, well, whoa, let me relax here for a second. I'm literally bored right now. So I should be doing something that will make me have benefits, you know? You know, being bored is not bad. Once again, I'm not saying that bored is being bad. I'm not saying this, that's what I'm trying to explain here. What I'm trying to explain here is that you start to find the problems that you do on a daily basis, the things that will make you feel less than a human, the things that will make you feel less intelligent, less clever. You know what I'm saying? It can be boredom, lack of purpose, weak routines, and this basically, if the more it's gonna stay there, the more it's gonna compound, the more you will basically feel like there's something missing. Okay, but because you're not watching pornography, that means you're not letting yourself go, then you're gonna be conscious about it, if that makes sense. Okay, the biggest danger is false confidence as well. So most relapses after 30 days comes from thinking I'm cured, and this is something very, very common. This is where structure matters more than willpower. Okay, you need to understand that your ego will start to grow a little bit, if that makes sense. You will start to think in a very specific way, because all of the vital energy that you have inside your testicles, you know, genitals, your body gonna start to absorb it. And when your body gonna absorb it, then you need to transmute it. And because you're gonna be transmuting it into something that is gonna be beneficial for you, it can be going to the gym, it can be doing things that will make you basically feel more clever or whatever, anything, okay? You need to channel this energy. When that's gonna happen, when that's gonna be the case, then you will start to build a new identity. And it can be a little bit egotistical, but make sure to understand that your ego is the enemy, because after 30 days, you're gonna be like, oh wait, let me just go and watch it since it's been 30 days and so on. You know, you're gonna try to attack comfort, but make sure to not fall into this trap. It's a real trap. A lot of people had this problem, okay, including me before. So you realize that this is a lifestyle, not a challenge as well. 30 days doesn't fix you. It shows you what needs fixing, okay? And that's realization is the real breakthrough, okay? So 30 days actually without porn wouldn't change your life, but it will show you exactly why it hasn't changed yet, basically. So it's kind of like when you stop watching pornography, okay, and you're holding your semen at the same time, life will expose all of the bad things that you do on a daily basis. If it's going outside, clubbing, smoking, drinking, or lusting, or all of those things, then you're gonna start to feel it. You're gonna start to connect more with yourself. And the more you're gonna be connected with yourself, the more easier for you to be conscious about all of those problems that you do on a daily basis, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much what consider this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you want to overcome this addiction as quick as possible, all you have to do is check the first link in the description. You can book a free discovery call and I'll see how I can help you. I love you, take care of yourself, and peace.